Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vilas Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you all to today's Wednesday feast program. Shuddha Brahma Parak Pararam. This verse talks about the first quality of Lord Ram. Shuddha Brahma Parat Pararam. What is the meaning of this? Shuddha Brahma means the supremely pure Brahman. And the word Parat Pararam means that Ram who has all the qualities in completeness. The Ramayana begins with a question by Valmiki to his guru Narad Muni. Valmiki once goes to his teacher, Narad Muni, and asks him, "My dear teacher, who is that person who has all these qualities in completeness?" Valmiki makes a list of 24 qualities. And he asks his Guru Narad Muni, who has all the 24 qualities in completeness? Valmiki is not interested in somebody who has one quality or two qualities or 10 qualities. He wants someone who has all 24 qualities in completeness. Narad Muni thinks a little bit about the question of Valmiki. And then he says, that person who has all the 24 qualities in completeness is Lord Ram. And then Narad Muni goes on to describe the entire Ramayana to Valmiki. And that is how the Ramayana begins. This verse brings to our notice a very important thing that we all are seeking for. We all are searching for the perfect hero, isn't it? When we scroll the Instagram, we're all searching who is that perfect person that I can admire, that I can appreciate, that I can look at. When we are reading the newspapers and studying politicians and sports stars and film stars, we're all looking for that person who is perfect and complete. That's why, that's why the whole idea of hero worship is so prominent today, isn't it? So we are all seeking that perfect hero. But unfortunately, as we seek the perfect hero, we come across many heroes in our life. Someone may be good in this, but not so good in this. Someone may be very good in that, but not so good in this. Somebody might be very beautiful, but very stupid. Someone might be very intelligent, but extremely ugly. Someone might be very wealthy, but not so knowledgeable. So we all have heroes in our life that we know of who have one quality in great quantity, but not all qualities. Many years back, I was in a bungalow in Rishikesh belonging to a very rich man, and we were invited for breakfast there. And while we were sitting there was a very famous Bollywood hero in that place, and he joined us for breakfast. Very impressive to look at and really a handsome guy. Till he began speaking. The moment he opened his mouth, we were disgusted. Some people should not open their mouth. They are very impressive till they open their mouth. So we realize this person is such an amazing person to look at, but in terms of culture, in terms of the ability to be sophisticated, it doesn't come through when the moment he starts speaking. So Valmiki is looking for the perfect hero. And when we study the Ramayana, we are that person who is perfect and complete. That person who is absolutely admirable as a hero and who has all qualities and completeness. We'll chant the second verse. Sheshatalpasuka nidritaram.
Sheshatalpasuka nidritaram.
The word Shesha refers to Ananta Shesh. One of the personalities in the Ramayana is Lakshman, and his original form is Shesha. He's called as Ananta Shesh, he's called Adi Shesh, he's called Shesha. The word Shesha means, I think the mic is going off. The word Shesha means that which is left. Shesha, Ananta Shesh, is in the mood of serving Ram. Shesha Talpa Sukha Nidrita Ram means Ram who sleeps on a bed of Shesha snake. Sukha Nidrita Ram means he sleeps happily. So I want to share with you all a little understanding of the snake bed. I'm sure all of you have slept on many beds, isn't it? Have you ever slept on a snake bed in your life? It seems that snake beds are the most comfortable beds in the universe. I don't know how many of you all have slept for many, many hours, beyond 10, 15 hours in one bed, If you slept for 3, 4 days in one bed, you realize you start becoming a little uncomfortable. You get backache, you get bed sores, you get skin issues. So many complications happen if you just sleep on the bed for a long period of time. Have you ever wondered how Lord Vishnu sleeps on the bed for ever without getting any back problem? How does he do that? Because this bed that he has, Shesha, is a very, very comfortable bed. The quality, one of the very interesting features of the Shesha bed is that it's a breathable bed. Expands, contracts, expands, contracts. And therefore, below Lord Vishnu, there is a lot of air gap, where air circulation can happen. And more than that, the amazing feature of this bed is that Anantashesh has thousands of hoods above Lord Vishnu, right? It is explained when mothers make their babies go to sleep. One of the ways in which they put their babies to sleep, if the baby is not getting sleep at all, they blow into the eyes of the baby. When they blow into the eyes of the eyes flutter and the baby goes to sleep. Anantashesh, with his thousand hoods, is blowing into the eyes of the Lord. And Lord Vishnu is getting very comfortable sleep, was known as Shesha Talpasuka Nidritaram. Once Lord Ram met Lakshman and Hanumanji. So Ram tells Hanumanji in front of Lakshman, he tells him, I love you twice as much as Lakshman. And he looks at Lakshman and he asks him, did you feel bad about it? Now, if you usually praise one person in front of another person, the other person usually feels bad, isn't it? So Ram told Hanumanji, I love you twice as much as Lakshman. And he asked Lakshman, did you feel bad about it? Lakshman immediately said, my dear Lord, what you said is perfectly right. He said, Hanuman is twice better than me. Ram asked him, how? Lakshman said, I served Sita for 25 years. And after 25 years of serving Sita, I still did not get her trust. I didn't win her trust. In fact, she doubted my character at one point. But Hanuman served Sita only for 25 minutes. He was with Sita in Lanka only for 25 minutes. But she trusted him blindly. So Lakshman said, what I could not achieve in 25 years, Hanuman achieved in just 25 minutes. Therefore, he's much better than me. And then Lakshman said, as Shesha, my role is to carry you. As Anantashesh, I carry you on my lap. That's one of my roles. But Hanuman is so amazing. He not only carries you, but he carries me also. He's carrying both of us. And therefore, he is twice better than me. And then Ram turns toward Hanumanji and he asks Hanuman, my dear Hanuman, what did you feel when I said that I love you twice as much as Lakshman? What did you think about it? Hanuman looks at Lord Ram and tells him, my dear Lord, this simply proves you love Lakshman more than me. Ram said, I am saying that I love you twice as much as Lakshman. How does this prove that I love you more? Or rather, I love Lakshman more? Hanumanji says, usually when you tell someone I love you, what do? How do you compare? You say, I love you more than my life. Isn't it? That's the normal way of saying it, isn't it? But what are you saying here? You are saying, I love you more than Lakshman, which means Lakshman is your life. And I am somebody else. Therefore, you love Lakshman more than me. Ram was amazed. He was amazed looking at these two people, taking one statement and appreciating the other. So Lakshman was saying the same statement and he was able to appreciate Hanumanji. And Hanumanji was able to see the same statement and he was able to appreciate Lakshman. Ram felt so good. This verse, Shesha Talpa Sukha Nidrita Ram, refers to that Ram who feels peaceful, who sleeps peacefully when his devotees love each other. When devotees of the Lord love one another, the Lord feels very nice. He feels very comfortable. He feels very peaceful, and he loves that experience. And when two people who are devoted to the Lord fight with each other, you know, get envious of one another, that disturbs the Lord a lot. So here, Sukha Nidrita Ram refers to that Ram who wants to sleep peacefully on the snake bed on the lap of his devotees, and the lap of such devotees that they're able to appreciate one another. In all our lives, we are struggling with envy, isn't it? We're struggling with envy, we're struggling with jealousy, we're struggling with petty mindedness. We are always thinking of how I can get appreciated and others can get criticized. This disturbs Ram a lot. But when Ram sees people who are devoted to him, loving one another, appreciating one another, being kind and encouraging to one another, that gives him great joy. Brahmadyamara prartitara.
Brahmadhyamara pratitaram.
So this verse, it refers to Brahma Adya. Brahma is Lord Brahma. Adya means all the devatas, along with Lord Brahma. Amara, the word Amara refers to eternity. The devatas, the demigods, they have drunk the celestial nectar. And because they have drunk celestial nectar, they are Amara. They're eternal, isn't it? And then it says Prartitaram. So when Ravan and all his brothers, they were troubling the demigods, the gods were in great anxiety. It is explained at one point, Ravan and his siblings, they became so powerful that they were controlling the heavens. And all the gods would be in Ravan's kitchen cutting vegetables. Imagine Indra cutting sabji, The most powerful of these personalities were in Ravan's court as servants of Ravan. So all the gods went to Lord Brahma and they told him, "What have you done? Why have you given such powerful boons to these demons?" And Lord Brahma explains the situation. Lord Brahma said, "I went because these people did powerful tapasya. I had to go there. But I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what is going to happen." Brahma said that when Ravan appeared, Ravan asked for his boon. Ravan said, "I want to be eternal." Brahma told him, "I am myself not eternal. How can I give you eternity?" So Ravan said, "Fine. Please give me the boon that I'll not be killed by." He made a big list of people: Gandharvas, Daityas, Danavas. He made a big list of people that he will not be killed by. In that list, he forgot to include human beings and monkeys. And the reason he did not include humans and monkeys was because he felt it's below his dignity to include humans and monkeys in this list. And he completely excluded them from the list. Brahma, he immediately gave that boon, but he realized the next person, Kumbhakarna, waiting to take boons, is even more powerful. So Brahmaji sent Saraswati to sit on the tongue of Kumbhakarna and twist his tongue when he's going to ask the boon. So just Kumbhakarna was about to ask. He wanted to ask for the boon of Indrasan. Indrasan means, "I want the throne of Indra." And Saraswati twisted his tongue. And instead he said Nidrasan. That means, "I want eternal sleep." And Brahma immediately said, "Tatastu." He gave it to him. Kumbhakarna said, "Oh my God, I didn't ask for this." Brahma said, "See, now I've given the boon, now you have to deal with it." But he said, "Since you are wanting a redemption," he said, "I will give you the redemption that one day in 6 months you will wake up. For 6 months you'll be completely asleep, and one day you'll get up. And that one day you can do whatever you want. You will not die in that one day." So Kumbhakarna became extremely powerful because of that boon. And Brahma then went to the third person, Shurpanaka, and she asked the boon of changing form at will. So Brahma gave her that boon. And then Vibhishan, he asked for a very interesting boon. He said, I want the boon that I will never deviate from the path of Dharma in my life. Ravan and Kumbhakarna said, what nonsense? Is this even a boon to ask for? Ask for something valuable, ask for something useful. What useless things you're asking for? Vibhishan said, no, I want this only. And then Brahma gave that boon. He felt the whole trip was worth for giving Vibhishan this boon. Brahma explains to these gods that I can't do anything about Ravan and his siblings. The only person who can help us is Lord Vishnu. So here, Brahmadya means Brahma and all the gods. Amara, it says. They're actually eternal, but they are very scared. Sometimes, out of fear, you forget your own powers. These people cannot die, technically. The gods are so powerful, they are Amara. But still, they are so scared of Ravan. Imagine if you were deathless. If you all had a boon that you're deathless, no death will happen. Will you get scared? Obviously not, isn't it? You can do whatever you won't die. That's what people want. But even those who are deathless can be paralyzed by fear. So here, Brahmadya Amara Prarthitaram, they started praying to Lord Ram. And as soon as the Lord Brahma told the gods, let us pray to Ram, that very moment Lord Vishnu comes on Garuda, the bird carrier. And when Lord Vishnu descends into in front of the gods, Lord Vishnu is carrying three things in his hand. He's carrying Shankha, Chakra, and Gada. He is not carrying the Padma. He doesn't carry the lotus flower with him. Now, if you're wondering why he didn't carry the lotus flower, was there a shortage of lotuses in Vaikuntha that day? The flower market didn't open up. No. Lord Vishnu purposely did not carry the lotus because the lotus represents creation. And Lord Vishnu is indicating to the gods, the time for creation is over. Now time for destruction of these demons is started. And instead of carrying the lotus, in that hand, Lord Vishnu is giving what is known as Abhaya Mudra. He's holding his hand like this. This is a symbol that don't fear. I'm there for you. So whenever you go to many of the temples of Lord Vishnu, you'll find Lord Vishnu in this posture. It is a posture of hope. All of us, at some point of time or the other, we are very fearful, isn't it? We all experience some fear or the other from some negative forces, some enemy, some danger, some problems. And when we are in great fear, this is the Lord Ram to take shelter of. This is the Ram to pray to. Brahmadya Mara Prarthita Ram. And this Ram offers us hope, offers us comfort, offers us reassurance. We all can deal with our own problems, but we need someone who can tell us, don't worry, I'm there for you. If you simply have one person who tells you, don't worry, I'm there for you, you can yourself deal with your problems. But the problem with most of us is that when we go through crisis in our life, we don't find anybody who tells us that. So whenever you are in a crisis, whenever you lose hope, and whenever you are afraid, that's the time to offer prayer to this Ram. And the Lord Ram will stand with his hands held up in a mood of assurance. We'll take up this next verse. Kaushalya Sukha Vardhana Ram. Kaushalya Sukha Vardhana Ram. When Ram and Lakshman went with Vishwamitra Muni, so Vishwamitra Muni comes to the court of Ayodhya and asks Dasharath Maharaj to give him Ram and Lakshman for protecting him from a sacrifice. There are many demons who are going to destroy the sacrifice. So he wants some help. So Dasharath Maharaj sends Ram and Lakshman along with Vishwamitra Muni. So Ram and Lakshman go with Vishwamitra Muni towards the forest, towards a place known as Siddhashram. It's a very long journey. And on the way, it becomes late evening and they decide to take rest. So Vishwamitra Muni, he makes a bed of leaves and flowers for Ram and Lakshman to lie on. And Ram and Lakshman lie on the floor. And Vishwamitra Muni lies next to them. And at this point in time, Ram and Lakshmana are just 12 years old, young boys. And Vishwamitra Muni, he doesn't know how to take care of these two young boys who are so small. So he begins to tell stories to them to make them sleep. Ram Lakshmana go to sleep that night. The next day, early in the morning, Vishwamitra Muni gets up and goes to have a bath. So these sages get up much before sunrise. It's known as a time known as Brahma Muhurta. Get up before Brahma Muhurta. And Vishwamitra Muni goes and does his prayers, etc. And when he comes back, he still finds Ram sleeping. And when he sees the sleeping Ram, he goes to wake him up. When Vishwamitra Muni goes to wake him up and he sees the beauty of the sleeping Ram, he gets mesmerized. He has never seen anything as beautiful as this. When we sleep and get up, it's not exactly the most beautiful scene, isn't it? Pretty ugly, actually. Yeah. So we have to immediately go and wash our face and get ready and all that to be presentable. But Lord Ram, when he is sleeping and is just waking up, that is the most beautiful experience. And Vishwamitra Muni is so amazed at the sleeping beauty of Lord Ram that he starts remembering Kaushalya, who is the mother of Lord Ram, and she is fortunate to see the sleeping beauty of Ram every day. So Vishwamitra Muni, he remembers Mother Kaushalya and he closes his eyes and composes a very beautiful prayer, which is a very famous prayer. This prayer is Kaushalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narashardola Kartavyam Deva Manikam. This is a prayer that Vishwamitra composes at this point in the Ramayana. And he is amazed by the beauty of a sleeping Ram. And the Acharyas explained when he says the word, when he starts his composing this verse, Kaushalya Supraja Rama, he gets stuck at the first part, Kaushalya, for almost 1 hour. He's repeating the word Kaushalya again and again for almost 1 hour because he's just so appreciative of the greatness of Kaushalya. This particular form of the Lord, Kaushalya Sukha Vardhana Ram, refers to the Ram that is just about to wake up. The early morning, Mangalarti darshan of the Lord, basically. The Mangalarti darshan of the Lord is a very special form of the Lord. It is a form of the Lord that is very, very unique. And I'm going to tell you a very beautiful story to illustrate this. One time, one devotee went to Vedanta Desikar. Vedanta Desikar is a very exalted Sri Vaishnava saint. Vedanta Desikar lived in Kanchipuram in South India. And there was a temple of Varadaraj over there, which is a very famous ancient temple. So one devotee goes to Vedanta Desikar and he asks him, can you please tell me what is the best time to go and have darshan of Varadaraj? Vedanta Desikar immediately said, go during Mangalarti, as soon as the Lord wakes up. So this devotee asked him, why? What is so special about Mangalarti that I should go so early in the morning? Vedanta Desikar tells, I'll tell you a very big secret that nobody knows. Vedanta Desikar tells him, Varadaraj is standing in his altar all day. So in South India, the deity of Lord Vishnu stands on one altar. And the deity of Lakshmi Devi stands on another altar separately. There are two different altars. So all day Varadaraj is standing separately and Lakshmi Devi is standing separately. But when the temple closes down at night, after everyone leaves the temple, Varadaraj goes from his altar to the altar of Lakshmi Devi to sleep along with her. And when Varadaraj is sleeping with Lakshmi Devi, he sleeps on the arms of Lakshmi. It's a lot of love and affection. Both of them are sleeping. Vishnu puts his arm, or Varadaraj puts his neck on the arm of Lakshmi Devi, and he goes to sleep all night. The next day it is Mangalarti time. He rushes back to his altar before all the devotees come. And when the devotees come and stand and look at the altar, look at the deity of Varadaraj, Varadaraj is very conscious. You know why he's conscious? Because when he sleeps on the arm of Lakshmi Devi, the bangles of Lakshmi Devi make a mark on his neck. And there are these, marks of bangles on the neck of Varadaraj. And Varadaraj is very conscious of that. And he's hoping nobody sees it. He's like very embarrassed. And at that time, if somebody goes to have darshan, and anything you ask at that time, the Lord says, take this, but don't tell anyone what you saw. So the Lord is like, in the mood of giving whatever you ask for at that time. But only thing is, you should not go and share with anybody else. So Vedanta Desikar says that Mangalarti darshan is a very auspicious darshan. If a king is in a court, now can you go to the court? Obviously, everyone is allowed to go to the court of the king, but it is not a very personal experience, isn't it? When you go to a court of the king, it's a very formal experience. But can anyone enter into the bedroom of the king? Obviously not, isn't it? Unless you are very closely related to him, you can't enter the bedroom. Only very special people can enter into the bedroom of the king. Similarly, Mangalarti is a time where the Lord has just woken up. He has not even got out of his bed. He's just about to get out of his bed. So only very special people are allowed to come there for Mangalarti. So if anybody who goes to the Mangalarti should know that they're very special people and they're very closely connected to the Lord. And this particular Ram over here, Kaushalya Sukhavardhana Ram, is that Ram who gives darshan early in the morning and is most merciful and kind. So at that time, you ask him for anything, he'll give it to you. So this is the special feature of this Ram. We'll chant this verse for them. Kaushikamak Samrakshaka Ram.
Kaushikamak Samrakshaka Ram.
So the word Kaushika refers to Vishwamitra Muni here. Makha Samrakshaka Ram refers to Vishwamitra Muni who's doing a sacrifice. And Ram is protecting that sacrifice. That's what this verse refers to. I want to help you understand this in a very beautiful allegorical way. I'll tell you the story first, and then we'll look at the meditation. Vishwamitra Muni performs a sacrifice in Siddhashram, and he brings Ram Lakshman along with him to help him perform the sacrifice. So when Ram Lakshman come to the sacrificial area of Vishwamitra Muni tells him, I'm going to begin a sacrifice now. It is going to be a 7-day sacrifice. And for these 7 days, I will take 2 vows. I will take a vow of abstinence from anger, and I have to take a vow of silence. And whenever I take these vows and I start the sacrifice, there are 2 demons named Marich and Subhahu who come and disturb me so much. And they completely stop me, prevent me from doing the sacrifice. But they throw all kinds of obnoxious things into the sacrifice and they completely destroy it. He tells Ram and Lakshman, please protect the sacrifice and make sure I complete the sacrifice. And Vishwamitra Muni tells him, now I'm going to start the sacrifice, but both of you be very alert. Anytime these demons can come. Vishwamitra Muni says that, and the sacrifice begins. The sacrifice goes on continuously for 6 days. Ram and Lakshman are protecting the sacrifice, just like the eyelids are protecting the eyeballs. The eyeball is compared to the sacrifice here. And Ram and Lakshman are compared to the eyelids. Just like the lower eyelid is in one place, and the upper eyelid goes up and comes down. Similarly, Lakshman is in one place, and Ram goes around and comes back. Then he goes around, comes back, and touches Lakshman. So like this, Ram and Lakshman protect the sacrifice of Vishwamitra Muni for 6 continuous days. On the 7th day, the sacrifice was officially going to be completed. And Vishwamitra was about to pour the last oblations into the fire. Technically, the sacrifice will be complete when he does that. Just when he was about to pour the last oblations into the fire, suddenly, Ram and Lakshman are thinking, we have been told that Marich and Subhahu and demons are going to come, but nothing has happened 6 days. And now the sacrifice is just about to complete. And Rama and Lakshmana are wondering whether all that warning was really needed. And just when they were about to kind of think it is all a waste of time, suddenly they hear this loud sound of the demons headed by Marich and Subhahu attacking the sacrifice. And Marich and Subhahu, and along with all these demons, they come and start throwing all kinds of obnoxious things into the fire. Ram and Lakshman immediately become alert. And Ram creates a canopy of arrows above the Yagya Kund. And not even one drop of all that dirty things that they're throwing enters into the fire. The demons get really frustrated because they're not able to contaminate the Yagya. The demons descend down to the floor and they want to attack from the floor. But as they come down, the mantras chanted by Vishwamitra Muni and the sages, those mantras prevent the demons from coming to the floor, coming on the ground. The demons realized as long as these mantras are being chanted, we can't come to the ground. So they decided to counter the mantras using their own mantras. And what are the mantras of the demons? The mantras of the demons are bad words. They start reciting all kinds of dirty, obnoxious words from top. So here, the sages are chanting pure mantras from below, and the demons are chanting obnoxious abuses from above. And the power of the mantras is so much that the negative energy of the demons does not influence the positive energy created by the mantras. That is why we must keep chanting mantras in our life to protect us from all the negative energies that we experience in our life. So then Marich and Subhahu became very, very angry and started trying to attack from below, throwing all kinds of weapons. Ram and Lakshman destroyed all the demons together. Now, Vishwamitra's sacrifice was completed, and Vishwamitra was very happy with Ram and Lakshman. This verse, Kaushika Samrakshaka Ram, refers to that Ram that protects the sacrifice of Vishwamitra. Now, the interesting thing about this particular form of Lord Ram is that the sacrificial arena, the sacrificial fire, is compared to the human mind. All of us, our minds are like that fire. And just like into that fire, there are two types of things that are being thrown. Vishwamitra Muni and all the sages, they're throwing butter into the fire, right? The chanting mantras are throwing butter into the fire. And the demons are trying to throw all kinds of dirty things into the fire. They're throwing meat and flesh and blood into the fire. All of us in our lives, our minds also like that. There are some people who are trying to throw good advice into your mind. Like come on, Wednesday satsang program. Every time you hear some nice things, isn't it? Your mind becomes fresh with good advice. But the moment you go out and step out and meet your friends and so many of your colleagues, etc., they throw all kinds of dirty things into your mind, isn't it? You watch Netflix, you watch all these OTTs, and all kinds of dirty things are thrown into your mind. Now you're wondering, how do you deal? It's the same mind, but some people are trying to throw good things and some people are trying to throw bad things into the mind. We all need some Rakshaka Ram who can protect our mind from all the dirty influences, the dirty thoughts, the bad ideas, the bad desires which are being thrown into the mind. So if we don't have some Rakshaka Ram who is compared to our intelligence, our mind is going to get contaminated. Unfortunately, we are not powerful enough to destroy the demons. So Vishwamitra Muni was very honest. He said, I can't protect myself from the demons. I need Ram. Just like Vishwamitra Muni is saying that I can't protect myself on my own, I need Ram. We all need someone who can help us deal with that negative energy, who can help us deal with the bad vibrations that are being thrown into our lives and into our minds. Every single day, this fight is going on. Every single day, there are some good people who are trying to throw good advice into your mind, and then there will be some bad people who are trying to throw bad advice into your mind. We all need some Rakshaka Ram to prevent us from getting influenced by the bad advice and absorb the good advice that is being given to us. The Bhagavad Gita is a book of wisdom. And Lord Krishna spoke the Gita to Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And Arjun was in a very similar situation at that point in time. His mind was clouded. And Krishna spoke the message of the Gita to help Arjun understand what is to be done and what he should not do. We all need someone like Krishna who can inspire us with knowledge and with guidance. Unfortunately, uh, most of us, obviously, we don't have Krishna in our lives, but we all have the knowledge of the Gita. And if you want to understand the Gita well, the best commentary on the Gita is Ramayan. Every single verse of the Gita, there is a story in the Ramayan to help us understand that verse. Practically every single verse of the Bhagavad Gita is explained through stories in the Ramayan. So we all, and most of you all, I think students of Bhagavad Gita, right? We're all studying, the Bhagavad Gita in detail. But if you really want to apply the teachings of the Gita, you have to learn stories from Ramayan and also connect them to verses of Gita. So I'm going to share with you all some really simple but profound thoughts that might help you all appreciate the wisdom of the Gita a little better and learn a few things from the Gita a little better. I'm going to take one verse from the Bhagavad Gita and I'm going to explain that verse through a story in the Ramayana. There is a very beautiful verse in the Gita which says, Dhyayato Vishayat Pumsan Sangaste Subhajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamat Kamat Krodh Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammohat Sammohat Smriti Vibhramat Smriti Brahmashat Buddhi Nasho Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. To help understand this verse, I'll tell you what the meaning of this verse first. The second chapter of Gita, where Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsam. So that means dhyana means meditation. Dhyayato Vishaya. Vishaya Pumsam means when you think about the objects of the senses. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsam Sangaste Subhajayate. You feel like getting that object. When you think of an object, you feel like getting that object. You feel like associating with that object. For example, if you see a billboard, and that billboard has has a painting or rather a photograph of a really beautiful looking mobile phone, iPhone 16, and these brilliant advertisements, yeah, and look at them, you said, wow, I want to have it. So dhyana means contemplation. When you see an object that you love, you start thinking about that object, isn't it? And when you start thinking about that object, you start doing some research on that object. You go on Google and start searching, start looking at technical specifications, looking at photographs, and you start developing some kind of an attachment to it. Sangat sanjayate kamat. So the more you look at it, the more you feel I want it. And the more desperate you become to get it. If you get it, do you feel satisfied if you get it? No. If you get it, you want something else. So there's no end to that satisfaction. It's not that at some point we say, I am completely satisfied, I don't want anything else in my life. It's never possible. But if you don't get it, what happens? You get very angry, right? So in the Ramayan, there is this very interesting episode where Mother Sita sees a golden deer. When she sees that golden deer, she gets fascinated by the golden deer. She tells Ram, I want it. Dhyayato Vishayat Pumsam. She saw it, she appreciated it, she wanted to develop attachment to it, she wanted to have it. And she tells Ram, get it for me. Having attachment is not a problem. But when your attachment takes you away from God, that's when it becomes a problem. Sita tells Ram, I want this golden deer. And for getting the golden deer, she sends Ram away from her life. Therefore, Valmiki, in this section of the Ramayan, calls that golden deer as Abhiram. Abhiram means what? That which is not Ram. So when Sita says, I want the golden deer, she says, I want this Abhiram. Ram goes away from her life. All of us are like Sita only. We want something. And when we say that we want this and we send Ram away from our life, that's when we fall into trouble. So Sita, she wanted the golden deer, she sent Ram away from her life. And when Ram went away from her life, who comes in? Ravan comes in. And how does Ravan come in? Ravan comes in dressed as a saint, right? In the olden times, in every house, there would be a temple. On top of every house, there would be a flag. The flag indicated that below the house, below the flag, the center of the house is a temple, is a deity of the Lord. And in every house, it was like that. The center of the house would be a deity. In today, on top of every house is a dish antenna, which means the center of the house is TV Maharaj. You know, there's a big television sitting there in every house. When Ravan comes into your life, he comes in as a saint, disguised to help you. Saints come into our life to help us, isn't it? So we develop confidence in them, seeing their dress, seeing their attire. And then when they come into your life, you start developing confidence. Suddenly, Ravan, had these 10 heads that came on. So similarly, just like Sita, all of us, we send Ram away from our life. When Ram goes away from the life, then television comes in the center of our life. Initially, television came in to do something good for us. You remember in the 1980s, when television came, there was only one or two channels. News, very good information being given to you, educative programs, And we thought, so nice, they're trying to do something good for us. And then we bought the television. Suddenly now 200 channels, and all kinds of crazy things are happening over there, isn't it? And what did Ravan do? Kidnap Sita and put her in Lanka. Similarly, we are all taken away, far away from Ram and thrown in some, desolate place. And just like Sita, what did Sita do in Lanka for those 10 months? Constantly, she was chanting the name of Lord Ram. She was trying to remember Lord Ram. And as she was constantly trying to remember Ram, at some point, Hanumanji came into her life and got a ring. Hanuman represents a guru. So we are all away from Ram because we got attracted to the golden deer in our life. And when we got attracted to the golden deer, Ravan took us away and put us in Lanka. And we are very far away from God. And with this distance, we're all trying to remember Ram's name. We're all trying to remember. In one sense, being at Boston is actually being very far away from the land of Vrindavan, isn't it? The heart of spirituality. And all of us, in one sense, are in Lanka. Cold place, a very very desolate place, very lonely place. And in this place, if you continuously chant the holy names of Ram, one day Hanumanji will come into our life. And that's the Guru, the spiritual master, who will come and give us the mantra. And that is the process of initiation. Most of us, I'm sure you could have seen these Bollywood movies, There's this hero who loses his memory, And the heroine takes him to one garden and starts singing a song. And as she sings the song, suddenly he starts remembering all those memories back again, isn't it? So all of us are like this hero who have completely lost from our spiritual journeys, and we have completely forgotten Ram. And as we come here to the temple, hear Bhagavad Gita, hear Ramayan, hear Mahabharata, hear Bhagavatam, as we hear these great scriptures, we suddenly start getting our memory back. And we suddenly start remembering, oh yes, we were with Ram at one point in time. Now we are completely away from him because we got attracted to the golden deer. And slowly, we start getting reconnected back to our roots. We start reconnecting back to who we were originally. And that is how we find the message of the Gita, the message of Ramayana are very much in sync with each other. All the scriptures, in fact, are very much in sync with each other. And there is a lot that we can learn from these scriptures. I highly recommend all of you to spend some time learning and understanding our scriptures. Ask them to get one copy of all my books. Yeah. I highly recommend all of you all to spend some time trying to understand the scriptures, understand what our scriptures are trying to offer us. Our scriptures are very practical books of wisdom. They are not some ancient stuff that has no connection with today, as or rather has no relevance today. But our scriptures are very powerful books that have immediate relevance in our lives. I have been writing a lot of books in the last 10 years or so, and my entire effort is trying to make our scriptures relevant to a common man, relevant to people like all of you. You may not know Sanskrit, but you are surely interested in something deeper. So, what I've been doing is I've been um, writing books in a language that human beings who are living ultra modern lives understand it and can digest it. So there are two types of people who write books. There are there is a traditional way of writing. Most people who read the traditional approach towards scriptures, they don't understand most of it because it's in Sanskrit, very complicated language and very difficult language. And then there are many authors today who are twisting the scriptures, completely deviating, completely presenting twisted, versions of the scriptures, which are not at all authentic. So people can't read the traditional versions because it is too, in language that is too difficult. People can't read the modern, shouldn't read the modern version rather because it is twisted completely, not at all, authentic. So I thought of taking the mid path. That means I am presenting the authentic version of the scriptures, but in a language and style that is very contemporary. So that's what these books are. I'm going to quickly introduce all of you to some of my books, which are very important books and which will help all of you in understanding our scriptures well. This book is called Naam Ramayan. This is the book that I've been speaking from today. Some of the verses of this book I just introduced you all. So this it gives you a very beautiful meditation on Lord Ram and helps you understand the qualities of Lord Ram through stories. So each story has a very deep meditation that you can apply in your personal lives. Um, then I have this series of books called Ramayan, the Game of Life. This is my magnum opus. I have been writing this series for almost like about 7, 8 years. And this series is a 6 volume series which contains the entire Ramayan written in a contemporary way with life lessons that you can apply in your life. Hundreds and thousands of people have been reading this series and have found the Ramayan very, very relevant in their lives. It's just in the style that I've been speaking, the series has been written. I highly recommend all of you all to get the entire series of books, which will help you appreciate the wisdom of the Ramayan very nicely. This book is one of my favorite and is probably one of my best books. This book is called Open Eyed Meditations. This book has 64 chapters written in a way that it can actually address all the problems that you have in life, seen through the lens of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So, practically every problem that you come across in life, you'll find a solution to it in one of the chapters in this book. So, this is a very, very interesting and powerful book to have. This book is called Hanuman Chalisa. This book actually became a bestseller on Amazon in India for months together. This is one of the most gifted books for months together on Amazon in India. This book has the entire Hanuman Chalisa written through stories. Every word of the Hanuman Chalisa explained through a story of Hanuman. That's the way this book is. It's a very, very beautiful book. This book is a book on Lord Shiva. It will tell you stories of Lord Shiva that you have never ever known in your life. All stories of all the Jyotirlings and some deep understandings of Lord Shiva. This book is one of my favorite books. It's called 5.5 Ways to Lasting Relationships. This book has 6 love stories from our scriptures. And each story talks about one way in which you can preserve relationships. In today's world, where relationships are falling apart so quickly, this is an amazing book. In fact, I'm going to speak tomorrow at MIT Boston based on this book. I'm doing a session called Secrets of Lasting Relationships. So if any of you all would like to join in for this session, you're most welcome. This is going to be a super important and a very, very powerful session for anyone who's interested in knowing about relationships. In addition to all this, I have many books for children. So these are a series of books for kids. This is the first book, which is known as 100 Vedic Women. A lot of people feel the Vedic scriptures don't talk anything about women. It's all about men. This book will prove them wrong. This book has stories about 100 women who are very powerful and who have so much of depth in them. This is an illustrated book with paintings about every single character in the series. This is a book called Goddesses of India. This book introduces children to the 6 most prominent goddesses through stories of their life. This book is called the Illustrated Bhagavad Gita for Children. Actually, this is for adults also. This book has 18 chapters and 18 most important shlokas of the Gita explained through stories. So every chapter, every shloka is explained through one story, which you can apply and learn the wisdom that is there within that verse. This book is called the Illustrated Mahabharata for Children. The entire Mahabharata in a very powerfully illustrated format. And finally, this book is called the Illustrated Ramayan for Children. The entire Ramayan in a beautifully illustrated format. I highly recommend all of y'all to go and get all of these books for your library and also for gifting to people. So I started telling in the last few years that if you ever gift anything to anybody, let it be books. Stop gifting people toys. Stop gifting people toys and plastic items and stuff like that, which are inconsequential and they break in some time. Please give people books which will stay in people's lives forever. So I highly recommend all of you to go and explore all these books and get yourself copies of these books. Now, if you have any quick questions or comments, we have about 10 minutes to take up quick answers. Anybody has any quick questions or comments, please?
You may raise your hand. We'll pass the mic to you. Anything from today's session or time-based questions to help?
Hare Krishna, I have a query.
Hare Krishna, the very first Naam definition says Talpa Shukha Pranamita. What does Talpa mean?
Bed. Anything else?
Yeah, I had one question. So, when we approach Naam Ramayan, what would be the ideal mode to approach it? How can we make sure that our recitation of Naam Ramayan and understanding of these stories helps us go closer in love and devotion to Lord?
There is a very interesting sequence of meditating on the Lord. When you chant the name of the Lord, Nama, the name of the Lord reveals to us the Rupa, form of the Lord. And from the form of the Lord, we get access to the Guna, qualities of the Lord, and Leela, the pastime of the Lord. So this book actually is technically doing that only. It is helping us understand the Nama, Rupa, Guna, and Leela of the Lord. It gives us a way to go deeper into the holy names of the Lord. That's the way it is. For any of you all who would like to stay in touch and would like to attend my classes and courses, which I do so many of them online. In fact, I'm doing an entire course on Naam Ramayan in January. It will be, of course, done in Bombay in Chowpatty, but it will also be simultaneously relayed online. I'm going to share with you a small QR code for those who would like to stay in touch. So this is a Telegram group in which you can join, and you'll get updates of my latest books, and you'll get updates of my latest classes, which I keep conducting online, and you'll get access to a lot of that information.
Zoom audiences.
Yeah, sure. Yes, yes.
I'll speak.
Yeah.
Basically, I wanted to ask that if you're like confused how to move forward with a situation that there's a person who you love so much and you are proved wrong in front of them, but you are deeply regretting what you have done wrong, and that person completely shut down you from their life. So how to move forward? Like we also detach them from themselves, or just what to do?
First thing is, if somebody does not want to be in touch with you, you can't force them. Also, time heals a lot of things. So, many times what happens if someone is not open to being in touch, not open to understanding what you have to say, you can't push it. And if you push it, it eventually goes wrong only. Sometimes just give people freedom, space, time. Things will change, things will heal, and things will come back to normalcy. And if you have someone who can mediate and who can, help you bridge the gap, that's the best thing. Because you yourself may not be able to bridge the gap often.
It's been so much time. What if then?
Then you have to be detached. You can't do much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just wanted to share the comment or the tip that you gave yesterday when the monkeys and Hanuman were in that hot place. Monkeys felt the heat, but Hanuman didn't feel the heat because he was taking shelter of the Lord Rama's hands touch on his head, so he didn't feel the heat. That somehow got registered so much, and today we had the book distribution in a outdoor. We know how the temperature is so cold. For 4 hours, we were outside, myself and the kids. So I was just meditating on that part of the good one, Guru Parampara's mercy to withhold the cold and still continue with it. And my younger daughter was asking, Amma, are you remembering Hanuman's meditation on Lord Rama's hand? So I said, yes, Guru Parampara is giving me that shelter. So I'm trying to take hold of that shelter to get the warmth in this cold climate. So thank you for giving such very practical and easy to remember, even for the kids, too easy to interpret and remind us also to take shelter. So I just wanted to thank you for that tip. And more tips that you keep giving.
Thank you for remembering that. But I also highly recommend you to take shelter in the cold. Not only of these words, but also actually of some heat.
Hello, Guruji. Like,
Yes, I can hear you.
yeah, actually, I have a question, Guruji.
Yeah, you can put the mic in. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is actually how we have to see and see the difference between puja, meditation, and yoga. So many times I always contemplate on these three things. I sometimes I feel these are all same. Sometimes I feel no, it makes a lot of difference. Like it segregates, right? So I don't know how to take this. So if you have anything on this, can you please explain me?
Word yoga means connection. The word puja is a ritual. And the word meditation is contemplation. So yoga is a process of connecting you with God. And meditation is a process of, so basically yoga is the umbrella term. So all the things fall under the umbrella of yoga. Meditation is one of the processes of yoga, which helps you connect your mind with God. And puja or rituals are another process which helps you connect your body with God through activities like offering puja, etc. So the process of yoga helps you connect with God. The word yoga comes from the word yujya, which means connection. So when you are trying to connect with God, that process is called as yoga. So you might do meditation to connect, you can chant mantras to connect, you can do puja to connect, you can read scriptures to connect, you can do so many forms of rituals to connect with God. all of them are pathways or ways in which you can connect to the God. I hope that helps you understand all the terms.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
There was a written question also.
No, she has a question there.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for your lecture. I had a question from the story of Ramayan. When Ravan gives an ultimatum to Marich that, help me kidnap Sita by becoming a deer, otherwise I'm going to kill you. And what I understand is Marich had two choices, either be killed at the hands of Ravan or Ram. And he's like, okay, I know I'm going to die, rather be dead at the hands of Ram. So, and he realized because Ram was a very special person, he knew how powerful he was. So when he chose to die at the hands of Lord Ram, why did he then try to get Lakshman away from Sita, like not help Ram in that sense, even though he knew he was special?
See, basically the point is, Marich had the right intentions, but he didn't have any good guidance. So he tried to understand spirituality with his own mind, in his own way. Marich actually took sannyas. He was wearing a dress of a sannyasi, but he was on his own. He didn't have a guru. So when you don't have a teacher guiding you, you always misunderstand what is spiritual. So ideally, he should have died in the hands of Ravan, serving Ram, just like Jatayu. Jatayu died in the hand of Ravan, but till the last moment, he was serving Ram. This guy thought better to die in the hand of Ram, but he ended up till the last moment serving Ravan and being loyal to Ram. That's what is called pseudo spirituality. So that's why it is very important to have a guide who will tell you, you fool, you are doing the wrong thing. Marich didn't have anybody like that. That's why he couldn't understand the subtle aspects of spiritual life.
Thank you so much. Is there time for another question? Prabhuji, I get confused about the timeline of Valmiki Muni writing Ramayan. Is it true that Narad Muni tells him about Lord Ram's life, and I think when he tells him that write about Ramayan, write Ramayan, Lord Ram was already present on earth, or was it before?
Valmiki wrote Ramayan when Ram was 39 years old. That's the time when Valmiki wrote Ramayan.
Okay.
So by this time, the Ravan was killed, and Ram was already the king of Ayodhya. And Valmiki wrote Ramayan when Sita was present in his ashram.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
My question could sound stupid, but ultimately, like whenever I'm feeling lonely or something, I'm able to follow Lord Krishna and Rama. Like I do 10 malas a day. I'm able to finish by 9 a.m. morning, worshipping and 10 malas. But whenever like my friends are around, I'm feeling happy. I'm not able to do even one, and I feel bad at the end of the time, like because I'm not able to finish the worshipping 10 malas, even I'm not able to finish my research that well. But whenever I'm feeling sad or lonely, but I'm able to do everything great, like research plus worshipping and 10 malas. So how should I make myself like very like
Simple.
studious to us? Yeah, like
My
when
suggestion to you is wake up early.
I do. Like I always wake up around 5 to 6.
Yeah, because your friends will get active after 9 o'clock.
True.
Before that, you finish your mala and all, then you will be fine. That's the best way to do it, okay?
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Nobody sends messages before 8 a.m. That pre 8 a.m., 9 a.m. is the time when you can finish all your spiritual life. After 9 a.m., once WhatsApp begins ringing, you forget spiritual life. That's the best solution I can give you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Guruji.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a doubt. So there are some sayings like when Ravana took Sita Devi, like she is not the original Sita, like she is a Maya Sita. There are some sayings like that. So I would like to know, like, is it right or what is go on that?
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. There is a scripture Puran known as Kurma Puran that mentions this. That Ravan, so when Ram went to behind the golden deer, he handed over Sita to Agni Dev, and Agni had Sita with him, and he sent Sita, which is known as Maya Sita, to duplicate Sita to Panchavati, and Ravan kidnapped her. And this Maya Sita was originally Vedavati, who was, who had vowed to kill Ravan in her next life because Ravan tried to insult her. And that Vedavati comes back as Maya Sita, and she is the one whom Ravan kidnaps. That's the Kurma Puran mentioning this. And there are many acharyas who give commentary on this also.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So there was one question in the chat. It says, you were saying Abhiram means no Ram, but still we see some initiated names do have Abhiram, Sakhatas, something.
Now, so basically, Sanskrit is a contextual language. You cannot say that that one word means only that. One word can mean 100 different things. You know what I mentioned, that which is not Ram. But that word Abhiram has many other meanings also. So when the initiated names are given, it could be some other meanings that are mentioned. Okay. Thank you very much. Very grateful and honored to be with all of you all here at ISKCON Boston. And I'm very, very grateful for the management of ISKCON Boston for having invited me here and giving me an opportunity to serve all of you all in the community here yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear viewers. So there are books outside, as Prabhu has mentioned. Prabhu has a prolific writer, and he has written many books. So all the books what he has mentioned, they are on the display, and they are also for the sale. Be around? Yeah. Okay, he'll be around. So if anybody wants to talk to him, you can definitely talk to him, and he'll be maybe sitting next to this one.
I'll be around here.
Okay, he'll be around from there. Okay, so please feel free to talk to him. Food is served outside, so you can go outside and then have the food. And while we do this one, okay, you can go upstairs and have the prasadam as well. And if you want, you can sit here. While we also have another small session which is going on from 8:15 to